So today in my garage we're going to be changing the oil in this '07 Ferrari 430. In the previous video I did, we ended up changing out the door speakers. That was a fun little project. If you haven't seen it, go ahead and check it out. But today we're going to be changing the oil and the filter in this '07 Ferrari 430. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so go ahead and first thing we did was go ahead and pop the engine bonnet here. Got that up, and we have access to the engine. And this is where we're gonna fill the oil up. So what I did was I went ahead and loosened this cap up here to let air in the system here. So when it starts draining, it'll drain better. Okay, so went ahead and took that loose. Now what we're gonna do is the car's warm too, so I started out, let it warm up for a minute, so thin the oil out a little bit. Now we're going to go ahead and lift the car up. We have it on a 4-post lift here in the garage, and then we're going to go ahead and oh yeah, it looks good. Go ahead and lift this up, and let's get access underneath it. All right, here we are under the car, and this is the access panel. Okay, it's right here. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fasteners here, and that's going to be a 3mm Allen head. Okay, so you want to go ahead and remove those, and it's going to have access to the oil filter. And then right over here is going to be one of the drain plugs. Okay, that we're going to have for the engine. We need to access that. Okay, and that is the front of the car. And then this is the back. And I have the diffuser off the back, so. Okay. You don't have to take the diffuser off, but I just wanna. I already had it off anyway, so I'll put it on after the oil change. Okay, so let me go ahead and remove this access panel. Okay, so we have the access panel off, and that's what it looks like. Okay, and let me show you the panel right here. All right, and that's it. And those are the fasteners there. And like I said, I use a 3mm Allen head to take them out. Okay, so let me show you this real quick. And yes, that's Italian music you hear in the background. All right, so yeah, you gotta set the mood, right? Okay, so this is the filter, and there's a little, like a rubber boot here, and there's a drain hole here to help it drain out what, so it won't try to create a mess. It'll just stream down, but I don't know, that doesn't always work, so, but anyway, okay. And then right in here, this plug here, if I can get this thing out, there we go. There's another drain here too, okay. This is in the gearbox. Okay, so we need to take this out and drain it there too. Okay, all right, so let me go ahead and start by taking some of these drains out and draining some oil. Okay, before we get into the car, I just want to show you this real quick. We have the factory Ferrari oil filter, we have the crush washers, and then we have our oil. Okay, and is that right, Blaze? Do we have our oil? Right, good boy. You helping Daddy out? Okay, I know you're a good boy. Okay, so anyway, this is the filter, and that's the part number 234742. And like I said, it's the factory Ferrari filter, and on the top it'll tell you the torque. Okay. All right, that's in Newton meters too. There's the crush washers for the 2 drain plugs. There's one plug on the bottom of the engine. There's one on the bottom of the gearbox, and this is our oil. Today we're running a 540. You can use a 040. We're running a castor edge, fully synthetic. Just pick and choose what type of oil that you like. I'm not here to tell you what brand to use because there's a lot of good brands out there. But today we're going to use the castor edge. Okay, so let me get under this car and show you this access panel. All right, we had our first plug here, the sump plug on the bottom of the engine. Again, just focus in here. Okay, so got my breaker bar here, 10mm, Allen head on here. So let me go ahead and break this loose now. Okay, I have it loose. All right. All right, so now let me get this drain over here. Okay, basically all I'm gonna do is just take this and just hand loosen it and let it, I'm gonna let it fall into here probably. If not, I'll try to catch it with this right here, but let me adjust this up. Let's see if I can do it while holding the camera here. I need to get a tripod or something. You know, I wasn't planning on doing a lot of these videos, but it's pretty fun actually, not too bad. Okay, let me tighten this up so it'll hold. Okay, there we go. All right, God, don't let this make a mess. Okay, so let me see if I can squeeze my hand in here. It's hard to see. Okay. All right, let me pull this back. Okay. All right, let's see if we can do this. Okay, she looks like she's loose. There she goes. No mess. Awesome. I love it. Okay, let it drain on out. Okay, I'm not going to bore you with the draining, so let me let this drain and then we'll come back. Okay, before we put the plug back in, we got to change the crush washer. So this is the factory one. Let's take it off. There's the new one. It seems a little bit bigger, but as long as that inside diameter, yeah, it fits on her good. Okay, so we're good. Yeah, you can't screw this up. So one's a lot bigger. This is the one that goes on the gearbox, and then this one's on the for the bottom of the engine. Okay. Yeah, so not that big of a deal. Okay, let's go ahead and get this thing put back in. Okay, so we got this drain plug here on the bottom of the engine in, snug down. So now we need to torque it down. So got our torque wrench here, and let me see here. Okay, so the manual, service manual says it should be 75 Newton meters. Okay, so I have it set on 75. It's probably hard to see that. But if you got a torque wrench that's only in foot-pounds, it should be about 55.2 pounds converted over from Newton meters. Okay, so let me go ahead and get this torqued. Let me see if I can. Let me get this on there and I'll see if I can video it. All right, I tried to film me torquing it, but I can't hold the camera and do this at the same time. Let me see here. So basically, you know, I just set the torque wrench to 75 Newton meters and just go ahead and tighten it down until it clicks, okay? Very easy. I'm sure probably most of y'all know how to use a torque wrench already. So, okay, let's go ahead and go to the plug on the sump. Okay, we're at the rear plug now. Now this is where most of your oil is going to come from. All right, it's from this gearbox here. So let me put this on here and try to do this. So I'll take this out, and there's going to be a lot coming out of here. So hopefully it won't make a mess. Let me see here. Okay. Why don't you get all over my phone? $1,200 oil change for my phone to be replaced, right? Okay. Oh, man. Okay. Oh, there we go. Yay. All right. There's no oil on the ground, so we're good. Okay. All right. All right, so let me, yeah, there it is. All right, so let me go ahead and get this plug out here. We'll get it cleaned up and get a new washer on it. Okay, so this is our drain plug for the gearbox. Okay, I already put the new crush washer on it. Okay, and before, let me show you something here. Before I do that, there's, if you, I'm not going to do it this time, but let me see if I can move this out. So it might still dripping. There's a, where we pulled the plug out here on the gearbox, there's a plate here. It's round. It has 4 fasteners. You can see one of the fasteners here. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can take those 4 fasteners out, drop it down. There's an O-ring on there you need to replace if you do that. And then there's a screen that's inside there. It filters out any large debris. In other cars, I've seen pieces of gasket sealer get caught in the system and get trapped by that screen in there. So it's a good idea to check it and see if there's anything in there, okay? But you can flash a light up in there. Put some glasses because you don't want this to drip in your eyes. And you can kind of look at it. Or, let me see, I'll show you what. But you need, when you access that, you have to drop this whole panel down to get to it, okay? Of course, I'm not going to do that today because it's not, there it is right there. You can see it, that big round thing right there. So, it's not leaking, so I'm not going to mess with it. Maybe in the future when we come back, we might do it again. But right now, I'm not going to mess with that, okay? I already looked at it. The screen's clean. Looks very good in there. But let me, I got my camera here. And you can even use this to look at it if you're afraid to look in there. So let me set this up and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so I got the camera stuck in there. And then it might be hard for you to see. I can see it perfect on my end, but this screen might be not show up good on the phone. But there it is. So you can kind of move it around and inspect it. And from what I can see, it looks perfect. Okay. So yeah, it'd be a good idea to check that screen out, okay? So it looks good. We're gonna go ahead and take this out, and let's go ahead and turn this off here. Okay. Oh. Okay. Just leave that there. So we'll go ahead and let's go ahead and put this plug in and get it torqued down. Okay, so plug is in. All right. Torqued it down. I'm not going to re-show that again. So 75 Newton meters. All right. Also, what I did too is you're going to get oil that splashes up and it's going to go around inside this panel here. So what I did was I took a rag, cleaned it all out, stuck my hands all in here. There was a bunch in here too. So make sure you check that, okay? And so clean that all out. That's all nice and clean in there. And I did the same thing with the front. Stuck a rag in there and wiped around and cleaned that out too, okay? So now that's done, let's go ahead and go to the filter now. All right, so now we're at the filter. We're gonna remove this. I already loosened it up. So kind of find out I don't have my original tool. I think I gave it away by accident. Recently, I got all new Sonic tools and I still have some of my old tools, but I gave some of them away and I think I accidentally gave this wrench away, okay? So I can put a ratchet on it and take it off. So you want to have the right one because if you don't do like I do right there. So I'm going to use a universal one here. I just got to be super careful. Taking it off is not a big deal because you don't. It's going to be thrown away. You know, just slides on like that, and then you just loosen it up. Okay. But you want to make it. You don't really. You don't want to scratch this all up because you can actually see that's the top. So if somebody is checking out your car and want to see the engine and stuff, you can actually see this from up top. And if it's all dented and scratched up, it doesn't look too nice, okay? So I try not to damage this in any way, okay? So I already got this loose. Let me go ahead and let's go ahead and drain this, okay? So I'm going to loosen this up now. You have a rubber boot here. It's going to help with not making a mess. There's a little drain right here, but it could still make a mess, so I already got it loose. Let's see what it does. Just loosen it up slowly here. My arm is burning from holding this phone up. Okay, there it goes. There you go. Not too crazy. Let it drain. That's doing pretty good. Oh, my arm is on fire. Okay. So we'll go ahead and let this drain. And then once it's drained, we'll go ahead and pull the filter out. Okay, let me go ahead and shut this camera off now. Okay, so we have the old oil filter out. All right, and that rubber boot actually did pretty good. Okay. All right, now got our oil filter here, and we put fresh oil around the rubber seal here. Okay, make sure you do that. All right. And then we'll go ahead and put it in. Let me see if I can do this while holding the camera here. Okay. All right, so I got it snug down. So now I'm going to go ahead and tighten it down to 30 Newton meters, okay? So let me go ahead and get that tightened down now. All right, so we have the new filter in, all right, and it's torqued down. It looks good. It's not all jacked up, so I didn't tear it up. So I can focus in on that. Okay, that's good. Went in, took a rag, got inside this rubber boot, cleaned all that oil up, try to wipe it off down here. It'll probably still be dripping out a little bit, but I'll clean it up more later. So that's already done there. We have this front plug removed from the bottom of the engine, oil drained, reinstalled the plug with a new crush washer. Same thing with here. Removed this plug, drained it, new crush washer on there, reinstalled it, and we also inspected the screen. Also checked for any debris in there, so that's good and clean. So everything's done on the bottom now. I'm not going to install this access panel yet because we're going to go ahead and put some oil in it now. Then we'll top it off and everything, and then we're going to lift this back up and check for leaks. Okay, so let's go ahead and get some oil poured into the vehicle. All right, before starting the car, I just want to go ahead and do a recap here and just show you what I see on the service manual. Just to reiterate what I've done. So you see the oil, you know, the caps right there at 75 Newton meters. The fastening screw and the filter access flange. That's that one we didn't take out, but has that screen in there. That's 6 Newton meters. And the oil filter cartridge itself is 30 Newton meters, okay? It also says that the oil level must be checked with engine warm, okay? And then run the engine at about 4,500 minimum. Is that min or what is that? I don't know, -1. Is that RPMs? I have no idea. So I'm not going to rev it if it means that. I'm not going to do that. So I'll just let it warm up, and then we'll pop it a couple times and rev it up to 4,000, 4,500 RPMs, get that oil flowing through there really good. And then you have to wait till the temperature gets between 80 and 90 degrees Celsius, which is, I think it's around 174, 176 to 194, 196, somewhere around there. So we'll just put it around 180 or so. We should be good. And then also the cap has to be resting on the where you fill it and you check the dipstick. Check the oil where the dipstick is. That cap has to be resting on the reservoir itself, and I'll show you more of that in depth when we get back there. I'll show you what I got. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this car fired up. All right, so we got the car lowered. I already went ahead and added 7 quarts of oil. All right, and then what I want to show you is, remember I showed you the workshop manual earlier. It said to go ahead and make sure there's your minimum and maximum to fill it between these 2 marks here, okay? So we're going to put it right in the middle. But another thing I want to show you too, let me put this here. Okay. Let me just put this like this. Okay, if you remember, it says the cap has to be resting on where you fill the oil at. So, but if you look here, look. Okay, if you rest it on there, sometimes it goes like this. Okay, but if you turn it a little bit, it'll drop. So which is it? It doesn't specify. Is it here or is it here? Okay, so I'm assuming it's here. So this is the way I do it. I just drop it all the way down at that level there. Okay. But as long as you keep that fluid level in the middle there, if you accidentally leave it either way or whatever, it's still going to fall within the parameters of being a good oil level. Okay, so we'll just leave that loose like that, and let's go ahead and get this thing fired up, and then we'll start adding some oil to it. Okay, we're in the car now and we're getting ready to start it up. So we've got the keys ignition. Let me turn those on. Okay, let me take this out. I make these little reminders so I won't start the car up when it has no oil in it. So let me go ahead and set that over here. We're done with that. All right, and one thing I do is I make sure I keep an eye on this gauge here. So when I start it, it needs to move up, okay, and build up pressure really fast. Okay, if it doesn't and it's running there like a couple seconds and that gauge doesn't move, make sure you shut it off immediately because you don't want to have any kind of engine damage. Okay, so let's go ahead and start it. Okay, and then you notice that gauge went up right away. Okay, so what we'll do is now that we got oil pressure, we'll go ahead and let it warm up. And remember, the manual says between 80 and 90 degrees Celsius, which is going to be between 174, 176 up to 190 something. So we'll put it about 180 or so, and then we'll start adding fluids to it. Okay, so let me go ahead and let it warm up. Alright, so we got the car warmed up. So you can get the gauge straight on. You can see that's pretty warm enough right there. So we'll just rev it up a little bit. 4,000, 4,500. Okay, that's good. Alright, let's go ahead and go back and check the oil. Okay, so I'm not going to bore you with adding a little bit of oil, checking it, adding a little bit of oil and check it. So I think we got it pretty good here. Let's see what we got. Okay. And there we go. It's pretty much almost right to the max fill, okay? So that's good. Let's go ahead and tighten that down. Okay, let me get this turned off. Alright, we're back under the car. We're checking for leaks. So far, everything looks good. Filter looks nice and good. There might be a little residue from when we drained it, but it's not leaking, so it looks good. This plug on the bottom of the gearbox looks good. And this drain plug looks good too. So I don't see anything leaking. Everything looks good. So we're going ahead and get it buttoned up. Put this access panel back on. I noticed this fell out on the ground while the car was running up there, and this was a washer. I did the air filters on this. Also, I'll post that video up next too, but I was missing one of these. So somebody had done the air boxes, removed the air box and replaced the filters, and was missing. Probably dropped it. It's not a big deal, but at least we found it, so I can put it back. Okay, because I was going to have to order a new one. So anyway, let me go ahead and install this access panel and this plug back. All right, so we got the access panel back in. We got the plug back in. It looks good. I did notice that when I took this off before that one of the washers was missing, so now we're going to have to order one of those. Which sucks because if you order one little washer, you still got to pay for shipping and handling. So, but anyway, we got to do it. We got to do it. Okay, so it looks good under here. So let's go ahead and get the car back on the ground. All right, that's it. The oil change is complete. I got some nice fresh oil in there, and the engine runs fantastic. So let me reiterate one more thing before I let y'all go, and that's on this cap again. So I always fill it to the max level. Okay, that's just what I do. The car is cold now, so the oil is going to drop down. But remember those two, you have the upper fill mark and then the lower, and it should be in between those two where it'll be good. Okay, so remember I was explaining earlier that the service manual says it just needs to be touching. I mean, that's from what I understand. I mean, maybe I read it wrong. But you know, it's either touching here or touching down there. So I always fill it up down here to the max level. That way, if it's supposed to be like up here, then if I filled it on max level down there, then what happens is when I lift it up here, it'll drop down above half. So it'll still be within the good range, okay? Now, if I fill it to the max level up here, and it's supposed to be down here, the oil level is actually going to be above the max level. So, and that can cause some other issues, okay? And you definitely don't want to do that. So that's why I fill it up down here, okay? And that's just what I do. That's how I do this vehicle here. But, you know, like I said, that's just what I do. Not telling you what to do. Basically, the video is just showing you showing you how I do it, and hopefully when you're doing your own Ferrari or 360, be pretty close to, but so anyway, when you're doing your own 430, hopefully this will help you out, and you can learn from my mistakes. Okay, so there it is. It's complete, and it turned out good. So hope you enjoyed the video, and hope you have a good day. We'll talk to you soon.